Well, folks, I will say there isn't much to talk about with the Cuse this week. Why? Because they didn't play this past Saturday. But they are getting ready for the ACC schedule. And it begins Thursday night. Yeah, it was a much-needed break for the Cuse this past Saturday, as there are still quite a few issues, especially with the offense and at times with the defense. Of course, the issues with the defense can be harkened back to the Maryland debacle. But what can I say? Thing is, DeVito kind of took a licking against Holy Cross on a play, and he stayed in the game when he should have been out. But oh well, we'll see. It's the ACC play starts this Thursday night down in Raleigh, North Carolina. And because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and a lot of teams start to wear pink in support of breast cancer awareness, I think that's what they say the Wolfpack will be wearing on their uniforms. The orange are gonna go with an all-orange look. Pretty good. Thing is, I don't know whether North Carolina State will be wearing white or whatever, but you know, some of the accessories the players will be colored pink in support of breast cancer awareness. Very worthy cause. The main part of the season starts this Thursday night, continues next Friday night when SU hosts Pitt in the Dome. And it's going to be an interesting second half. Not quite the second half, but we're getting close to it. But this is the part of the schedule where it starts to count, Cuse. Come on, let's get going. And I go from talking about the Cuse to talking about Buffalo. Yeah, it was an old school, knockdown, drag-out type game against the Titans. Yes, Buffalo's defense is definitely for real. They had Marcus Mariota running for his life most of the game. And of course, Derrick Henry, who is one of their main offensive weapons, was definitely held in check. But the main revelation about this Bills team this week was the emergence of a guy who was on the practice squad for most of the season. A guy who has fought and clawed his way to finally be on an NFL roster, even spending 2 years up in the Great White North playing football. Yeah, it's a little bit of a world coming from the CFL down to the NFL, but the Duke of Buffalo has emerged. Duke Williams was elevated to the practice squad this past week, and he emerged catching 4 passes and catching a touchdown pass. Enough where they had to send Zay Jones to the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders for a pick in 2021. You know what? No longer can I go, Zay, what? Whenever he catches, because he's not a Bill. Yeah, he may have been the leading wide receiver last year on a no-name wide receiver squad, but he kind of disappeared with John Brown and Cole Beasley emerging as the top targets for Allen. So he became expendable. Of course, we got to wonder about the Alabama prospect who emerged in the second half last year. Robert Foster is pretty much degressed. Apparently, he's been invisible. But, I mean, I don't know. He's been inactive. He emerges last year, but he regresses this year. Could he be next to maybe be waived and maybe be replaced by somebody on a practice squad? Who knows? But the Duke emerged. You can start singing this song. Duke, 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 Duke of Buffalo, Duke, Duke, Duke of Buffalo, Duke, Duke, Duke of Buffalo, Duke, Duke. Nothing can stop the great Duke of Buffalo. Alright, so maybe it's the Duke of Earl. But hey, I can change lyrics, can I? Duke Williams, the Duke of Buffalo. Maybe he'll emerge as a great other target for Allen. Of course, the tight ends, especially Dawson Knox, has kind of regressed the last week or so. But who knows? A hard-fought 14-7 victory over Tennessee. And now Buffalo gets a week off to contemplate the rest of the season. As next up, it's the lowly Miami Dolphins. Adam Gase definitely has his work cut out for him down there in South Florida, especially the way he looks at a press conference. Don't look cross-eyed and drooling or like you don't know what you're doing, Gase. Of course, he could be a basket Gase if Miami doesn't turn things around, just like with Jay Gruden, who was just dismissed as the coach there for the Redskins. They're on the horizon too. Let's see what happens, Buffalo. You get a week to contemplate the rest of the season and see what happens. Now let's welcome the great Duke of Buffalo, Duke Williams. I'm going to go from there to talking about what is a big issue. Yes, definitely it has been an issue for a lot of years now about what happens to players after they retire from all the punishment they take on the field, especially to their heads. But now it seems cheerleading can be dangerous. Yes, apparently a cheerleader for the California Golden Bears is trying to raise awareness that concussions happen to cheerleaders. You know what? Some of the moves cheerleaders do can be dangerous, especially the pyramid. But apparently a lot of her problems resulted from getting kicked in the head. Well, of course, you know they stand in a unique way when they're cheering on the sideline. And if they don't respect the distance, yeah, when they do their high kicking routines, yeah, somebody could get whacked. Of course, that's another thing, misjudgment of distance. But I'm not excusing that. Yeah, injuries do happen. I've seen it happen on the basketball court, especially when cheerleaders fall from the pyramids. Heck, years and years ago it happened when Syracuse took on Marquette in the early 80s. Injuries do happen, and cheerleading can be as physically demanding as the players on the field. If this really happened to her, there does need to be awareness for what's going on. Of course, a lot of people say, she can take it. No, I support her decision. Yeah, she's having a lot of after effects. She wants to raise awareness. You know what? It is time to respect those that cheer on our players on the sideline. I still remember an incident where a cheerleader doing that pyramid, when they do that twisting routine down, her elbow caught a fellow cheerleader and knocked one of her teeth out. Yes, cheerleading can be dangerous. It's time to raise awareness. My hat is off to this cheerleader. Now I gotta get my hat back on and hopefully get it straight, because I'm going to talk about my final thing here. Ellen Degeneres is definitely taking a lot of heat, because supposedly there were pictures showing her with President Bush. And of course she says that she and him are friends. And I mean, the heat is mainly because they're different views. Well, you know what? Everybody doesn't have the same view, and everybody doesn't have the same quirks and things. But you know, doesn't mean that you can't get along or be friends. Heck, I have my quirks. I have my differences with a lot of people. But you know what? I don't care about that. Yeah, I may not disagree with a lot of what other people say, but you know what? There's common ground there somewhere. One of my best friends, who sadly passed away, she and I definitely had a lot of differing views on life, but she was one of the sweetest people anybody could meet. I treasured my friendship with her. And I will say this, my cousin may be gay, but she is one of the sweetest people on the face of this earth. Everybody ought to know her. And that's all I'm going to say this week, because maybe I might not have the same views, but that doesn't mean we have to argue and hate each other. Let's think about that and let that be a lesson for everybody. I'm Ken Haas. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.